So, picture this. I'm standing in the middle of a 5-star resort in Palm Coast, Florida, suitcase in hand, heart in throat, watching my wife laugh with her Botox crew like I'm some random tourist who wandered in off the beach. We were supposed to be celebrating our anniversary, our first vacation in 3 years. She begged for it, said she needed to reconnect with joy after a tough year. I paid for the resort, the flights, the damn spa package. I even got our daughter to stay with her parents for the week so we could actually breathe. But here I am, under chandeliers that cost more than my truck. And she turns to me, all glossy lips and fake laughter, and says, loud enough for the entire lobby to hear, "Oh, I didn't book you a room, babe. This wing's only for the inner circle." Her friend Betrayal cackles and adds, "Yeah, no offense, but we needed a girls-only vibe. No testosterone energy messing with our glow." They all laugh, like they're in some reality show and I'm the loser husband who forgot the script. I look straight at Madison. Yeah, that's my wife. Married 7 years. Used to cry at Disney movies and eat ice cream from the tub during thunderstorms. Now she's wearing Louboutin heels and smirking at me like I'm the waiter who brought the wrong cocktail. "No worries," I said, swallowing every ounce of rage I had. "Good luck being VIPs without someone who actually gives a damn about you." And I walked out. No yelling, no scene, just me, my bag, and 1,000 eyes pretending they weren't watching. I ignored the calls. Let the texts pile up like trash on a holiday weekend. Madison, where did you go? Betrayal, OMG, you're being dramatic. Madison, come back, we were joking. Madison, if you're trying to ruin this trip, you won't win. Madison, do not make a scene. Oh, honey, the scene was already made. You just didn't expect me to walk out of it. I didn't go far. Found a beach shack 2 miles down the coast, $20 a night. Smelled like seaweed and disappointment. But at least no one there acted like I didn't exist, and I thought, that was the worst part. The humiliation, the cold dismissal, the public gut punch from the woman I once trusted with every corner of my heart. I was wrong. 3 hours later, I realized I'd left my wallet in my bag. The same bag I dropped in that marble lobby like a dead relationship. I headed back, not for her, not to talk, just to get what was mine. The place was quiet now, lobby half lit. Concierge gave me a look but didn't say a word. I took the elevator, same floor, same ocean view, same hall where they toasted to each other like they were the housewives of Palm Coast. And there it was, my bag, propped against a chair like a stray dog waiting to be claimed. I reached in, pulled out my wallet. That's when I heard it. Laughter, not hers, not alone, a man's voice, low, confident. God, I've missed this. You've been starving, huh? And her voice, soft, sultry, familiar in the worst way. You have no idea. He bores me to death, but you know how to touch a woman. The world tilted. I followed the sound to a door left cracked open just enough to let betrayal spill out. Inside, candles, music, clothes on the floor, and Madison wrapped in a towel, straddling some Abercrombie model with a spray tan. She moaned. He kissed her shoulder. She bit his lip. He's such a loser, she whispered. Can't believe I'm still married to that walking disappointment. I didn't move, didn't breathe. Just stood there, burning from the inside out, watching my wife perform her little betrayal like it was a scene in a bad late-night drama. And it hit me. This wasn't spontaneous. This wasn't one mistake. This was planned. The vacation, the room snub, the fake girls-only act, it was all cover. A romantic getaway with her side piece, fully funded by the fool she married, me. But I didn't burst in, didn't scream. I backed away, because I wanted her to think she got away with it. I wanted her to let her guard down. Because the best revenge isn't rage. It's silence. It's patience. It's making sure they never see the hit coming. Back at the shack, I sat, on the edge of the bed, staring at the floor like it owed me answers. My knuckles white around the wallet, my stomach a twisted knot of disbelief and fury. She hadn't just cheated. She'd mocked me, played me like a puppet for laughs. The spa trip, the champagne, the manicure she used to grip that guy's shoulder, all paid by me. But that was about to change. Because Madison didn't just burn the bridge, she detonated the entire city. And she had no idea that her little vacation fling was about to become the most expensive mistake of her life. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was devastated. No, that would have been easy. I didn't sleep because my brain turned into a war room. Every memory over the past 6 months played like surveillance footage. Her girls' nights, out, the sudden gym obsession, the phone always face down. That mysterious guy named Ty who kept reacting to her stories with fire emojis. I thought I was just being paranoid. Thought I was insecure. Nope. Turns out I was married to a woman who made gaslighting a sport. By sunrise, I was at a beachside cafe, wired on cheap coffee and vengeance. I hadn't even touched my phone. Didn't need to. I knew what it would say, but when I finally looked, Madison. Where the hell are you? Madison. You're acting unstable. Madison. Don't throw away our marriage over a misunderstanding. Madison. It didn't mean anything. Ah, the classics. The "you're crazy" starter pack. That's when I knew. She wasn't sorry. She was scrambling, and that gave me power. So I sent one thing, a photo. A blurry, grainy snap taken through that cracked door. Her half-naked lip locked with some shirtless Ken doll. Her legs around his waist like a gymnastic ribbon routine. Radio silence about 4 hours. Then the phone rang, her name lighting up the screen like a warning flare. I didn't pick up. She called again. Then Betrayal. Then unknown number, which, shocker, was her trying to mask the desperation. I turned off notifications, walked to a bar with sand for a floor and a bartender who didn't ask questions, ordered a whiskey neat. Sat down in yesterday's clothes with a sunburn on my neck and betrayal etched into my bones. Some guy next to me said, "You good?" I said, "Not even close." He nodded, took a sip of his beer like he'd heard it all before. That night she texted again. Madison. Can we talk? Madison. Come back to the suite, please. Madison. Let's fix this. And that's when the switch flipped. I wasn't hurt anymore. I was done. But I still wanted to see her face when she realized she lost the game. So I went back. One last time. The elevator doors opened with a little ding like they were announcing vengeance. I stepped out, walked past the same hallway where the night before, she humiliated me like I was some stray she found on Craigslist. I knocked. She opened the door in a silk robe, makeup smudged like she wanted to look like she'd cried. Her eyes widened when she saw me. "Jake," she whispered. "Baby, I didn't speak." I walked past her into the suite. The air reeked of roses and regret. No sign of her boy toy. Guess he bolted when I sent the photo. Smart move. I would have buried him with his own hair gel. She trailed behind me, fake soft voice activated. "I was going to tell you," she said. I laughed, not out of humor, out of sheer disbelief. "Sure. When? After round 2? It was a mistake." "No," I said, jaw tight. "A mistake is forgetting your anniversary. This was a plan." She stepped closer, touched my arm. "You don't understand. I understand everything, especially what you said about me." She blinked. "I was drunk." "No. You were honest. Booze just gave you the balls to say it out loud." Her hand dropped like she touched fire. "You embarrassed me, lied to me, slept with another man while I was still under the same roof," I said, calm but lethal. "You're not sorry. You're just caught." The silence cracked around us like ice. I turned toward the door. "Jake, wait. We can work through this." "No, you can work through this. Alone." And I left. Didn't slam the door. Didn't throw anything. Just walked, away from the pile of ruins she mistook for a marriage. I didn't take the elevator this time. I needed to feel the stairs under my feet. Each one a drumbeat pounding out the end of an illusion. Back at the shack, I pulled out my laptop and did something she never saw coming. I called my lawyer. Didn't explain, didn't cry, just said, I want it over. Fast. And I want it to cost her everything. By noon the next day, divorce paperwork was in progress. I froze the joint accounts, canceled the credit cards, locked her out of the house, my house. The one in my name. Her car, leased through my company, gym membership, gone, spa perks, poof. Gone like the dignity she flushed down the drain. That's when the panic started. Madison, you're overreacting. Madison, I didn't sleep with him. He just comforted me. Madison, you're destroying everything over one mistake. Then came the desperation bomb. Madison, Jake, I'm pregnant. I stared at the message like it was a line from a bad soap opera. She'd used that one before, 2 years ago when I found flirty text to some guy named Corey. Same playbook, same fake tears. So I responded with one word, prove it. She didn't reply. Didn't need to, because now she had nothing left. She played the loyalty card, the gaslight deck, the pregnancy wild card, and lost every single hand. I spent the next few days quietly destroying every safety net she thought she had. Found a family lawyer in her home state. Sent a legal warning to the guy she was sleeping with, Hunter, a finance bro from Scottsdale, who apparently had a track record of HR violations. I didn't go public, didn't start drama. I let the system do the work. And Madison? She still didn't realize the vacation she booked would end with her losing the life she lied to keep. I used to think heartbreak felt like a fire. But it doesn't. It's not loud, it doesn't roar, it's silent. Like the slow leak of air from a tire you don't notice until the car's scraping metal. That's what sitting alone in that shack felt like. But the silence wasn't empty. It was focused. The kind of silence you only find when you're sharpening a blade. By day 3, the shock was gone. So was the pain. What was left was strategy. Madison had her little mid-vacation betrayal, but I had the receipts, literally. The entire trip was on my card. Flights, hotel, dining credits. Even the ridiculous $1,200 they spent on wellness crystals during the spa day. I printed every charge, every email confirmation, every transaction that linked her affair to my name, because I wasn't just walking away. I was going to reclaim every inch of my life. It started with the house. We bought it together 5 years. Go, but title and mortgage? In my name. She never bothered checking. So when I had the locks changed and security cameras rerouted, she had no legal ground to stand on. My lawyer drafted the documents so clean even the judge would blush. Then came the credit cards. 6 in total. 4 of them were just vanity plastic she used to collect airline points and buy crap from influencers who swore coconut oil cured anxiety. Cancelled every one of them at once. Boom. Access denied. The next message from her came fast. Madison. Why can't I log into the bank? Madison. Are you seriously cutting me off? Madison. We need to talk. I ignored her. She didn't want to talk. She wanted control. And the minute I stopped giving her attention, she unraveled faster than cheap mascara in the rain. The following afternoon, I got a voicemail from her mom. Sweet lady. Never liked me much. Always thought Madison was a princess and I was the butler who got too comfortable. Jake. Her voice trembled. She's devastated. She said you've locked her out and left her stranded. I don't want to meddle, but she's pregnant. You shouldn't be so cruel. I stared at the phone for a second before deleting the message. She really played the pregnancy card with her mother. Impressive, but I wasn't biting. Instead, I focused on the next move. Hunter. The guy she cheated with. Turns out, Hunter wasn't. Just some random finance guy. He was a junior associate at a boutique firm in Arizona that was very proud of its family-first branding. So I had my lawyer send a professional concern letter. Simple. Non-threatening. Just a heads up that one of their employees was involved in an active divorce case as a third party. Included were a few screenshots. Nothing graphic, just enough to raise questions. The email bounced around internally, servers like a pinball. 2 days later, Hunter's LinkedIn said open to work. Oops, I didn't gloat. Didn't throw it in her face. I wanted her to stew in it. To sit in the fantasy she created. This dream of being some Instagram divorcee influencer sipping wine and posting cryptic quotes about healing. Because healing doesn't start until the damage stops, and Madison hadn't stopped anything. That weekend I flew home, alone. No goodbye note, no announcement. Just vanished from the resort like she never booked me a seat at her twisted game in the first place. The house was quiet when I stepped in. Still smelled like her lavender candles and dry shampoo. But I wasn't here for nostalgia. Took a box and went room to room. Packed everything that was hers, clothes, makeup, hair extensions, her fake feng shui junk from Etsy. Even the wedding photo she insisted we frame in rose gold. All of it. Gone. Then I drove to her mother's place and left it all on the lawn. Note, no explanation. She called 6 times that night. I didn't pick up. Then the text started again. Madison. I'm sorry. Madison. I messed up. Madison. I didn't know what I was doing. Madison. I felt lonely. You were so distant lately. Madison. I made a mistake. And finally, the classic. Madison. Don't throw away what we had. But here's the truth. She didn't make a mistake. She built it. Every lie, every snide comment, every time she left me out of her plans and said it was just a vibe thing. She stacked bricks until the house collapsed, and then tried to blame the foundation. So I sent one last message. You didn't lose me because you cheated. You lost me because you turned me into a joke. No reply. Not that night, not the next. Just silence. A few days later, I got a call from our mutual friend, Brent. Chill guy. Always sat on the fence like it was a throne. She's saying you flipped out, he said. That you canceled everything and disappeared. She's telling people you had some kind of breakdown. I laughed. Not out of bitterness, just at the audacity. Yeah, I replied. Then I guess it's a shame her breakdown ex just filed for full asset control and temporary spousal cutoff, with evidence of infidelity attached. Brent didn't speak for a beat. Then he said, Damn, man, she didn't see that coming. No. She didn't, because Madison believed that a man who loves quietly also suffers quietly. She thought kindness was weakness, but she forgot. Some men don't explode. They erode your kingdom with every step they take away from you. A week after I dropped Madison's things on her mother's lawn, I got the call. Not from her, from her father. Now let me preface this. Madison's dad and I were never tight. The man shook my hand at the wedding like he was making a reluctant business deal. Cold, polished, the kind of guy who'd iron his socks if he thought it proved dominance. "Jake," he said, voice level. "I heard about the situation." I said nothing. Let the silence do the heavy lifting. He cleared his throat like he wasn't used to being ignored. "She's hurting. She told us you abandoned her in Florida." Ah, so that was the version she went with. No mention of her hooking up with another guy while I paid for her champagne? Silence. "She didn't share that," he admitted finally. "Of course not." He tried to pivot. Suggested we all sit down, talk things through like adults. I hung up before he finished the sentence. Let her parents believe whatever fiction she needed. Let her play the part of the abandoned wife. Meanwhile, I had a paper trail, a digital archive, and enough photographic evidence to bury 1,000 fairy tales. I wasn't playing defense. I was already in the end zone. 3 days later, I got a letter. Not an email, not a text. An actual handwritten letter in that dramatic, loopy handwriting she used when she was trying to seem vulnerable. 1 page. I never meant for it to go that far. I was angry. I was stupid. I just wanted to feel powerful again. I thought you'd chase me, thought you'd fight for me and prove I still mattered. I didn't expect you to leave. I guess I never understood the man I married until I lost him. No signature, no apology. Just one last attempt to rewrite the story. Frame herself as the tragic figure in a romantic drama she directed from start to finish. I read it once. Then I lit a match and turned it to ash in the sink. That was the last thing she'd ever send that existed in my home. Meanwhile, the legal side of things was moving like a machine with fresh oil. My lawyer, bless him, was a quiet bulldog. He didn't speak in metaphors. He didn't send dramatic emails. He just got results. The assets were frozen. Her name was off every account. The house was mine, by both name and deed. The business credit line she occasionally dipped into for her side hustle closed. She hadn't just lost me. She lost the lifestyle she curated like an Instagram profile, every detail manicured, every lie filtered. Now she had to post from reality. One day, while organizing receipts for court, I stumbled on a notification. Madison had made a new public post. It was a beach photo. A glass of white wine in her hand, sunset in the background. The caption read, "Sometimes you don't realize what you had until it's gone." And the soundtrack, some sad, nostalgic ballad about second chances and finding your way back. She didn't tag me. Didn't need to. The whole performance screamed, "I'm hurting, but make it aesthetic." I didn't comment, didn't like it. Didn't message her. Instead, I screenshotted it and added it to the divorce file. Because while she curated her heartbreak like an art exhibit, I was preparing the final exhibit, the truth. A week later, I sold the house, the same one we picked out together. The one with the white shutters she insisted on, even though we lived in Arizona. The one where we built a life, or at least I did. I didn't take much with me. A few books, my record collection, a framed photo of my dad and me fishing when I was 8. Everything else? Boxed, stored, or trashed. She wouldn't get the satisfaction of turning those memories into leverage. I moved into a small loft across the city. Clean, quiet, mine, and for the first time in years, I felt peace. Real peace. No emotional landmines, no walking on eggshells, no overthinking texts or decoding passive-aggressive silences, just silence, the good kind. But then something strange happened. I got happy, not instantly, not dramatically, but slowly, like rain soaking into dry soil. I started sleeping better, started cooking again. Hell, I started running, something I hadn't done since my 20s. Not to escape, just to move, to breathe. To feel like I still had a pulse that belonged to me. Then, one morning, sweaty and half awake, I stopped at a coffee shop I'd never noticed before. Small place, no line, just a barista with a crooked smile and a t-shirt that read, "Emotionally. Available until I have coffee." She looked up and said, "You look like a guy who's rebuilding." I blinked. "That obvious?" She shrugged. "Nah, just been there." Her name was Olivia. Not a love story. Not yet. Just someone who didn't look at me like I was broken. Just a guy, getting coffee, getting better. That day I sat on my balcony and realized something. I didn't lose a wife. I lost a mask. The woman I married? She left long before that vacation. She left the moment she decided the opinions of her friends mattered more than the loyalty of her husband. She left when betrayal became easier than communication. She left when she laughed at me in front of strangers, thinking I'd crawl back for a seat at her toxic table. She didn't expect me to walk away. She sure as hell didn't expect me to not look back. By the time the court date was set, I didn't even feel like the same man who stood in that luxury resort lobby, suitcase in hand, while my wife laughed behind a champagne flute and told me I didn't have a room because I wasn't important enough. That guy died. What was left was someone sharper. Someone who finally understood the difference between love and illusion. Madison didn't come to the preliminary court hearing. Her lawyer did. A sleek guy in a $1,000 suit who tried to look me in the eye and say, "There's no proof of a formal affair." So I smiled and handed him a flash drive, photos, screenshots, her vacation selfies cross-referenced with timestamps, a short video clip, muted, of course, from that cracked door, where she straddled Hunter like she was auditioning for a late-night pay-per-view. And just for flavor, the invoice she charged to my card for the couple's massage they had after. I left the resort. Suddenly Mr. Slick Suit wasn't making eye contact anymore. The court took one look and granted temporary asset control in my favor, pending final division. Madison texted me that night. "Why are you doing this? I didn't mean for you to find out like that." Like that was the issue, not the betrayal, not the public humiliation. Just that I saw behind the curtain before she could spin it into a we grew apart story. Didn't answer, but oh, she wasn't done. 2 days later, she showed up at my building. No warning. Hair curled, makeup done, in the same perfume that used to make me melt and now just smelled like lies in a bottle. "I just want to talk," she said. Her voice soft, fake, calculated. "I don't need to fight. I just want closure." I let her in. Not because I wanted closure, because I wanted confirmation. And wow, she delivered. She sat on my couch and tried to cry without smudging her mascara. Talked about being confused, how the attention from someone else made me feel seen, and my personal favorite, how maybe we both made mistakes. I leaned back, arms crossed. "What mistake did I make exactly?" She blinked. "You stopped showing me you cared. You mean when I worked 2 jobs to help pay off your debt? That was different," she muttered. "Or when I planned your birthday trip last year and you left early to go to dinner with friends." She didn't answer, so I gave her silence. The same silence she used on me for years. She looked around the apartment, minimalist, clean, mine, and said, "It feels cold here." "Better than feeling fake," I replied. Then she dropped the final grenade. "I made a mistake, but I still love you. Now this is the moment, right? The yeah." Seen in every bad romance movie where the guy pauses, sees her tears, remembers the good times, and takes her back. Except, I didn't, because the good times weren't real, they were borrowed. Paid for in advance by me, emotionally, financially, spiritually. So I looked her dead in the eyes and said, "No, Madison. You don't love me. You love control." She flinched. "You love having someone who forgives you, who picks up the pieces, who shows up no matter how many times you kick him in the teeth." Her voice cracked. "That's not fair. No, what's not fair is cheating on your husband on a vacation he paid for while your friends toast to your fake freedom." Ma stood up, eyes cold now. The performance was over. "Fine," she snapped. "Enjoy your empty apartment and your self-righteous anger. I hope it keeps you warm at night." I smiled. "Oh, I don't need it to. Peace does that just fine." She left, slamming the door like she was still trying to write the final chapter. But she didn't realize this story wasn't hers anymore. It was mine, and I wasn't finished. That same night, I contacted a friend who worked in real estate. I told him I wanted to list the last piece of shared property, our old lake house, technically co-owned but tied up in my business trust. Madison had no idea how deep my planning went. He found a buyer in 72 hours. Once the sale closed, I didn't even tell her. She found out through the court summary. Her lawyer requested an explanation. I simply pointed to the clause that stated any property used for business may be liquidated at will. Madison lost her mind. "You're selling everything just to punish me." No, I was removing the rot. And then came the final twist. Hunter, the man she threw our marriage away for? Yeah, he wasn't her endgame either. Turns out he ghosted her 2 weeks after the vacation. She'd posted some soft launch photos of them. His hand on her thigh, a half-profile shot at brunch. Very influencer. Very thirsty. Next thing she knew, he blocked her on everything. Rumor was he moved on to someone younger, dumber, and less likely to bring a civil suit. She tried to spin it online. posted vague quotes like, "Some people come into your life as blessings, others as lessons." No, Madison. You were the lesson, and I was the final exam you failed spectacularly. It's funny, the things you remember when it's finally over. The sound of her laugh when it was real. The way she used to fall asleep with her hand curled into mine, like it was instinct. The first time she said she loved me. Barefoot in our first apartment, eating cereal for dinner because we couldn't afford anything else. That version of her, the real her, is long gone, replaced by someone who measured love in attention, status, and followers. And me? I'm not mourning her anymore. I'm mourning the version of myself that tolerated it. After the lake house sold and the divorce papers were officially signed, I expected to feel empty, but I didn't. I felt clean, like I'd finally scrubbed away years of tension I'd mistaken for love. And just when I thought I'd moved into the quiet chapter of my life, fate handed me the grand finale. It happened at a charity gala. My business partner had begged me to attend. "Networking," he said. I wasn't in the mood for tuxedos and small talk, but I went anyway. And guess who was there? Madison, of course, dressed in a glittering black gown, clinging to the arm of a new guy. Tall, square-jawed, plastic smile. You know the type, someone who laughs too loud and checks his reflection in every window. She didn't see me at first. I was in the corner, drink in hand, watching the room like a man who no longer had anything to prove. Then her eyes landed on me, and oh, that expression. The flicker of panic behind the smoky eyeshadow, the stiff smile, the twitch in her hand as she gripped her new accessory's arm just a little tighter. She excused herself and walked over. Alone. "Jake," she said, breathless like we were long lost, lovers running into each other in a rom-com. "Wow, it's been a while." "Not long enough," I replied, sipping my drink. She laughed, too loud. "I didn't expect to see you here." "Yeah, well, life's full of disappointments." "Isn't it?" Her smile faltered. She looked me up and down, like she was scanning for weakness, searching for some crack in the armor she used to peel off whenever she wanted control. But there wasn't one. "Listen," she said, lowering her voice. "I just want you to know. I've been thinking a lot about us. About everything. I wasn't in a good place back then." "Back then?" I raised an eyebrow. "You mean when you laughed in my face at a resort I paid for while planning to sleep with a guy named after a truck brand?" Her mouth opened, closed. No words came out. "That's okay," I continued. "You don't have to explain. I finally realized something." She straightened up. "What's that?" "That I didn't lose you, Madison." I leaned in slightly. "I got rid of you." Her face cracked. "You were the weight tied to my ankles while I kept calling it swimming. You mocked me, cheated, and made me feel small. And you did it with a smile. But now I'm done dragging dead weight." Her jaw tightened, the mask fell away completely. "You're such a..." "Careful," I said. "Your fake empathy is slipping." She glared, her eyes cold, empty. The crowd behind her sparkled. "In sequins and money?" But we might as well have been on an empty stage under a spotlight. "The final act. Do you still think about me?" she asked, softer now. I paused. "Sometimes," I said, "when I need a reminder of what I'll never accept again." And then I walked away, just like that. No goodbye, no look back. I left her, standing there in her glitter and lies alone, surrounded by people but lonelier than I'd ever felt when I was with her. I found my partner, and we toasted to the closing of one of our best quarters yet. Madison. She stood by the open bar for the rest of the night, sipping regret like it was vintage wine. 2 weeks later, I received a letter from her lawyer. She wanted to contest the asset division, claimed she'd been emotionally manipulated into a signing. My lawyer laughed when he read it. "It's like she's trying to rewrite the ending," he said. "She already did," I replied. "She just doesn't like how the story ends. And speaking of endings, let me tell you what really ended things." 3 months after the divorce was finalized, I gave an interview. Nothing dramatic, just a business profile for an entrepreneurship podcast. I told my story. Not the drama, just the truth. How I'd rebuilt. How I'd walked away from a toxic marriage and restructured my entire life with brutal honesty. It went viral. Not because I named names, because I didn't. Not because of scandal, because there was none. It went viral because people recognized themselves in it. Men, women, people who gave everything to someone who treated them like a side character, their own life story. And suddenly my inbox was filled with stories like mine, pain, survival, and strength. Madison tried to play the role of the powerful, reborn woman, but I actually became the man I was always supposed to be. Not in spite of her betrayal, because of it, and that is what makes this the perfect ending. She tried to break me in public. I healed louder. She tried to erase me with a lie. I rewrote the story with truth. And now, when she tells people how it ended, if she even has the nerve, I hope she tells them this. I thought he'd crawl back. I thought I could humiliate him, cheat on him, lie to him, and still win. But I forgot something important. He wasn't weak. He was patient. And when he finally walked away, he took everything. That's the end of today's story. Did things turn out the way you thought, or were there some surprises along the way? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you haven't joined the community yet, now's the perfect time. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you're always the first to catch new stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure.